All right. Welcome to another good things that happen. Particularly, this is good things that happen comics related in 2023. Here's kind of the thing. I actually forgot to do one for 2022, so I'm not gonna do it right now. But I'm just focused on 2023. Before I get started with this one, in the case of good things, well, I got a chance to go to 3 Comic Cons this past year. A Fanboy Expo, which I'm very disappointed with that one. Which I don't have any plans to go back to for this coming year. Nope. After the one time I was there, I'm like, nope, not going back there again. It was okay. The problem is basically it was barely anything in there. I mean, like my gosh, it was less than Central for Comic Con. But wait, Central for Comic Con come out in 17 days. Yes, 17 days. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Yep. By the time it comes this coming Saturday, marks 2 weeks into a Comic Con. 2 weeks, which I'm very much looking forward to that. Well, I turned 35 this past year. Yep. I went through 2 cars. The first, you may think that's kind of a bad thing. Well, my second car, I got a new car last month, so I had to mention that. Which I'm loving driving this thing because it is so nice to have a car again for the first time. When I got it, first time about 4 months. I got a brand new car, and it's nice, it's comfortable, it feels so great, and plus also, I can actually play my podcast via the Bluetooth audio, which I couldn't do with the 2012 car I had. I had 2017 now. Let's see. Um, Work's still pretty much the same, except I didn't like the fact the last couple months, basically my hours were cut due to stupidity. But basically, this was a pretty decent year for me. But let's talk about comics related. So, first things first, Dawn of DCU. Yes, this is something basically that was a smart move on the part of DC Comics. Mm-hmm. And this is something that they probably needed after what happened in Infinite Frontier. They needed a fresh, like, something nice and bright. And it felt like basically a lot like Rebirth. It felt like, though, that DC had a plan. We have stuff basically going correctly now. The only thing basically you may not like about it is the Night Terror stuff, but everything's been pretty decent. Mostly, anyways. Yes. Yeah, that's not something I do agree with some decisions basically books made. Not a lot of it per se, but some of it. Oddly enough, basically, like I think like basically like some books get started this year was actually a pretty nice idea. I mean, here's books basically came back just this year. Shazam. Yes, an ongoing Captain Marvel series. And here's the thing, he is called the Captain, not Shazam. I have no problem being called the Captain. It's fine. I have no issue with it at all. Yeah, and by the way, this actually was the first series in a few years. Yeah, the last one he had was the book by Jeff Johns. Yep, that was the last known time he had it. It's been a few years, but and I've been thoroughly enjoying the main book itself. Yeah, it's been by Mark Wade, Dan Morris in the artwork. We also, let's see, for a limited series this year. Well, the only one I found to be disappointing was Adventures in John Kim. Everything else, I've been enjoying every one of them. Though Alan Scott, I feel less as disappointed. But one thing I do find disappointing in one book is The Outsiders. First Outsiders book in a few years, and you make it a limited series. Why? Make it ongoing. I like Speed Force, despite the fact just other stuff here. Uh, I think of the limited series, in my personal, the best ones I've read are Unstoppable Doom Patrol, I did enjoy Superboy Man Tomorrow. City Boy, The Vigil, To Just Say America. I enjoyed that one. Hot Girl, uh, Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville, Wesley Dodds Sandman, a book that Rob Russell basically should definitely be on. A book that's really good. Yeah. The only books that a lot of people don't want in this line are basically just not that good. One, of course, is Amazon's Attack. Steelworks was decent, though it's like the whole Harpy of the Cloud Damage stuff. Yeah, that's one thing basically I do agree with some really kind of that idea. And yes, we do have Beast right now, but it's an event. It's mostly, from what I can tell, just one mini series, have one ongoing series, and a bunch of one shots. Yeah, it just one shots. Yeah, but ongoing series wise, the only one basically that I am not a fan of out of all these is of the ones that have been released so far. I think the Flash is okay. Power Girl I do like. I think the best ones of the line are I'm talking more about this. I'll talk about more about Superman, Green Arrow, Batman, and Robin. Y'all get to the reason why for that. Green Lantern War Journal is really good. I do like Green Lantern. Wonder Woman's pretty decent. I was kind of surprised they relaunched it. Blue Beetle was really good. The only really kind of okay series right now is probably gonna be Catwoman, especially since Tina Howard took over the book after one of two books she just happened to be on. The only thing I don't like about this line is that you have the Kick a Punch line, who character is supposed to be like a replacement for Harley Quinn, and excuse me. For some reason, Tina Howard does not want her in a Harley Quinn book for some reason, even though they show her in limited series. I don't know why, but I mean, the Superman line is really good. I like Batman really. It's also kind of surprising we don't have a Justice League book. First time in years, there's no Justice League book. Though I've heard rumors might come back though, but this is the first time we've not had a Justice League book published for DC Comics since the 50s. Yes, there always had to be a Justice League book published, and now we don't have one. You know, no book that published right now? Teen Titans. Yes, seriously. Teen Titans. There's no ongoing Teen Titans series. There is, well, how should I put this? There was a limited series, World's Finest Titans, and there's of course Titans by Tom Taylor, which is I actually think is a really good book, but there's no present day Teen Titans. It's like we haven't had one since Adam Glass one wrapped up. Adam Glass / ever since the last fight wrapped up just a few years ago. That's the only thing disappointing here about that. But Bullbear stuff, the new golden age. Yeah, I think this started like the previous year. I think it was. Yeah, this line of books is still really really good. I mean, with the exception of the Green Lantern book, but everything else has been really good so far. And I still do not agree with making Just Inside America a limited series. Make the ongoing. And I do agree making Green Arrow ongoing was a really smart idea. Making a limited series was a really bad idea. Ongoing, smart move on their part. Yes, definitely. Yep. Alright, so next one is basically Josh Williams' good year. I give this guy's got 4 books. He's got Superman, really good. Green Arrow, really good. Batman, Robin, I enjoy it. My particular is not the biggest fan of it so far. And of course, I think he does. I don't think it's released yet. He does the Cobra Commander book. Yeah, so he's had a really good year. Yeah, Superman basically selling like hotcakes. I think Superman is probably selling more than Batman is right now, because how really good it is. Yeah. It's also sad to see Phil Garden Johnson wrapped up his run for Action Comics last month, which means that this one we start the brief 3-month time where you have Jason Aaron write the book, and then he leaves. Then, of course, also in Batman Off-World. Yep. Alright. Image getting Transformers G.I. Joe. This though was a very interesting move per se. Mostly it's published by Skybound, a imprint of theirs. Basically, it's run by Robert Kirkman. So he runs the Transformers line. We have Android Universe. We have the Return of Real American Hero, which I was kind of surprised that that Image brought this book back, because I had heard about Transformers. I knew about Duke. I knew about Cobra Commander. I did not know Real American Hero was coming back. That was kind of surprised about that, and the fact that Larry Hama's still writing it, and it's good. Yeah. In case you're curious, though, who writes the Transformers book, Daniel Warren Johnson, the guy who wrote the Jurassic League miniseries, he's writing the Transformers book, which, okay, interesting. It's a new universe, which I'm very much looking forward to that. Now, IDW, in my opinion, had a really good time with Transformers. They put out a lot of really good comic books. Though toward the end, some of the books got some credit, some flack from readers. For basically in the last year or two, it's like, I think that the relaunch that they tried to do for IDW, it did work for a while, but it didn't last very long, surprisingly. Yeah, but this was a really interesting move. Not the first that Image has actually had these two licenses, because they did have before when Devil's Due published it. Devil's Due was under Image, so you could say this second time they had it, but hopefully it's better than what Devil's Due had before. Yeah. And a lot of people were cheering this when this happened. Tim Drake Robin ended this year. Thank you. Thank you, DC, for ending this awful book. A book that should not have been released at all, because the book is so bad. Like, wow. And is it something, though, the writer hasn't anything since this book wrapped up? Yes, I think when issue 10 came out, when it was announced, like, I heard about this. People were cheering the fact this book was finally ended, because this book was just awful. Like, every time I initially got, like, is this book going to end? Because this book is so horrible. Yeah, it's got terrible artwork, terrible writing, and I would not be surprised if comic readers would vote Megan Fitzmartin the worst comic writer of the year. And also, Tim Drake Robin, worst comic of the year, because of how really bad it is. But thank you, DC, for ending it, though you ended Batgirl as well. I've heard a rumor the reason the book ended was because of the fact it mentioned that Tim and Stephanie broke up. Aside from that, it was actually a pretty decent book. Though it was some fierce about that, was a really good book. Next up, from Phil and Kenny Johnson, The Return of Incredible Hulk. First time since 2018 we've had this title come back. Because what have we had the last few years? We've had mostly this Immortal Hulk, and not this book. Immortal Hulk was a great run. I love Immortal Hulk. I thought it was fantastic. Al Ewing did an excellent job of that book from start to finish. Danny Cole's an interesting time in the book, though I thought it was really weird with the Hulk spaceship stuff, but loving what Phil K. Johnson's doing. Feels like a Hulk book. Excuse me. And may have been what Al Ewing's publishing, but still a Hulk book. Though, for some reason, if you read the Hulk book now, Hulk's got a mullet. Yeah, he's got long hair for some reason. I'm like, that's weird. Hulk having long hair. He's not his son. Scar had long hair. Yeah. Now, another book. Now, Al Ewing is doing a couple books Marvel, and I'm enjoying both of them. Immortal Thor and Avengers Incorporated. Now, Avengers Incorporated is a limited series, but I love the concept of it. Basically, it's a superhero. It's basically a PI agency who investigates the world of superheroes. Similar in style to what Peter David did, but it's a limited series. But I am enjoying it so far. It is really interesting. In fact, you have Jennifer Van Dyne on as the star of the book with a version of Victor Slade, which is an alias division. And this is definitely a book that was needed. I love it. Al Ewing is great when it comes to tongue-in-cheek humor and noir stuff. Yeah, just all a really good book. I do appreciate though the fact that Alex Ross is doing Immortal Thor. Yeah, it seems like though he does like every single like if you anybody noticed though like he's in the covers for almost every single Marvel comic book published since 2015, except for the X-Men books. You're thinking, what? Really? He has an X-Men? He's done Fantastic Four. He did all new Avengers, Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, Captain America. He did the Christian Amazon for Iron Man. He's currently doing Thor. It's like he does practically everything. Except for he didn't do Daredevil. Yeah, the only non-X book he hasn't done is basically Daredevil. But mostly he has done just Daredevil and X-Men. But damn. And the only reason why that he does it, the Marvel puts him on these books, because otherwise the book won't sell. Because people love Alex Ross's artwork. Yep. Next up is Gods by Jonathan Hickman. Quite interesting miniseries so far. And it has a similar stuff I love about his limited series S.H.I.E.L.D. If you're not familiar with S.H.I.E.L.D., that was a book that Hickman came up with a little over a decade ago that got relaunched at the second issues and wasn't finished for about almost a decade. And then when it came back, the Marvel held his last two issues. I loved the first volume. Second volume, an okay conclusion. Now, in case you're curious though, the volume by Mark Waid has nothing to do with that book at all. It is just present day S.H.I.E.L.D. that is past S.H.I.E.L.D. It's basically sci-fi stuff. I love Hickman's writing, and I think it's a really good series so far. I just want to put this on here because I love it. Two more things here, and then we'll wrap up this video. Next up, Jim McKay's runs on Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, and Avengers. Moon Knight, great book. Not a bad issue for 30 straight issues. Of course, this guy still does some occasional Black Cat stuff, especially with the Iron Cat miniseries. Let's see. There's also his Doctor Strange book, which, damn, this book is good. I love this book. Now, I do own his whole run, some release and trade for Doctor Strange, because I love Doctor Strange. And I love... Oh, he is doing Doctor Strange. Alex Ross does the cover for that one, too. Yeah, I think he's doing the covers right now, but this book has been really good so far. Loving it. Avengers is starting. It's a pretty good start so far. It may not be as good so far as his runs for Moon Knight and Strange, but still a good book. Loved it. Last but not least, my friend Tim would not be happy with this on here. Dan Slott's turn for Spider-Man. Yep, he's back in Spider-Man. First time as of this year, 5 years. Yeah, after 5 years away from Amazing Spider-Man, after that writing the Amazing Spider-Man book for 5 years, though he did feature Spider-Man in Fantastic Four. But yeah, he stayed far away from Spider-Man for 5 years. And smart idea. Because I think a lot of people were pointing out, though, about when he finally left the book, that he was his run had lost steam a while. Like, I think the book had basically lost steam after Superior Spider-Man wrapped up. Yeah, because basically what happened afterwards, it felt as though basically he's like running out of ideas. A lot of people were begging Marvel, get him off the book, because it wasn't necessarily terrible per se. It just felt as the book was lost. It just lost steam. It seemed like he was burning out on the book. He had been writing books since like 2007. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. He's not doing Amazing Spider-Man. He's only did 3 books of Spider-Man just this past year. He did Spider-Man, which started Into the Spider-Verse, and of course, Who is Spider-Boy? The Spider-Boy book, which I love this book so far, and Superior Spider-Man. Love these books. And I think that him work on these books, like, if it's a way Amazing Spider-Man, and here's the thing, I think these books are probably selling more than Amazing Spider-Man right now, because people are not liking Amazing Spider-Man right now, especially since Zeb Wells' run has been very, very negatively received, a lot of it so far. Though I do enjoy the Gang War stuff, but yeah, it just basically, I think that this is, well, what basically people like. We want good Spider-Man stuff, and I think Slott is just doing his best. I mean, he's not doing any more. I mean, in the case in the Spider-Verse, here was kind of thing when it comes to that. It wasn't like a massive big event this time. Nope, it was just a 7-issue story arc that would introduce a brand new character. Though one thing that was really weird was the fact they brought back Kane, even though that. When I'm thinking, when did he die? Because the weird thing was when he came back in the Spider Verse, he had not been seen since the Spider Guy Den. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. An introduction to the Spider Boy character, which yeah, he's a retcon character. Which the second time Slott's on a retcon character. Now, what do I mean by that? Because this character was retconned to assume the fact people knew him, despite the fact no one knew who this character was. He assumed basically on for years, and then they finally show up. First time that Slott did this was their original Sin, though he teases part of it with his debut of Cindy Moon, aka Silk. That was the first character he did it with, and Robbie Thompson did a lot more with her than Slott ever did. And now we have Spider Boy, a guy who's got his own solo book, which joined so far. They've only released a couple issues. I love the last issue they've released, where you had Spider Boy team up with Captain America, and I do appreciate Slott does not let Captain America be like an overbearing adult, written Captain America talk down to him. He treats him like a kid because he is a kid, but he doesn't treat him like he's stupid. He doesn't treat him like an overbearing parent. He treats him like a junior partner, and I thought it was really good. And the fact he was also a volunteer for FAST. Yes, the homeless shelter that May Parker works for. Yes, I thought this was kind of interesting. But I love it so far, and also the fact that well, in the Spider-Man book, basically, Slott is following what's up he did. Like, having Octopus ring his memories, which smart idea that is. And I thought this was kind of weird. Having it where Dr. Octopus is telling Peter Parker to put on this Superior Spider-Man costume. And we're also teasing the return of the Spiderlings. I'm like, what? Yeah, I thought this was quite interesting. Because I love it started this so far. Smart move. Yeah, I don't mind the fact that Superior Spider-Man. No problem with that at all. Also, Anna Marie's in the book because, of course, she is. She's a Dan Slott character because apparently no one can write her except for Dan Slott. Yeah, but not much else to say about the good things happening this past year. So I'm going to end it here. I went through the comic card, but I'm talking for 20 minutes. I figured I needed to rest my voice. And I'll go back and watch Cock Range. Okay, next video. Bye.